everybody, welcome to the Thursday show. Today, it's a holiday edition for me. For the rest of the crew, it's just another Thursday.
Friday.
This is your show on the Frontline Gaming Network where we run down the biggest tournaments coming up over the weekend. We're going to talk about the meta, how you could beat it or how you could beat it. Anyway, y'all are making it. My name is Paul Murphy. I'm joined by Adam Camilleri.
Howdy, everybody. Joseph 40K.
And Dustin Henshaw.
Hello, everybody.
Hope everybody is doing all right. And if you do celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope that you had a great day. And I appreciate you coming and spending some time with us.
With your family. You and your family listen to this together.
Look, put us on. Put us on the
Put us on the TV, man.
You know? Yeah. Football's over with. Just turn on the Thursday show and say, look, this is my sports.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. You got it. Having your plate of Thanksgiving dinner, turkey, Thursday show. What could be better?
Sounds like a perfect family get together. I love it.
Family said something you don't like. Just get your phone out, headphones on, Thursday show.
So just stream it to the Roku or whatever, and just we're there. You know, we'll make it sound sporty today. You know, well anyway, but seriously, thanks for coming and spending the time with us and making the time each and every week. If you're listening to this after the fact, please note that we do this live on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we have a great chat community, folks that are throwing in comments, keeping us honest on things, helping out, just as big as part of the show as we are. And, if you are listening to that fact, please make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe and all that other kind of stuff. Let's jump right into it. As far as like Joe goes, Joe's in Minnesota, from what we understand. Minnesota. Is that how it's set up there?
Is he, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we couldn't find the link to the tournament. So maybe he's just, gone fishing outside of the...
on fishing.
Legitimately, I couldn't find. I looked for this event everywhere. It's not in BCP. It's not in Downunder Pairing. It's not in Tawny Keeper, or it's in Pun Pun. It doesn't have a Facebook page. I could not find the Minnesota GT anywhere. Somebody in the chat who's probably going can just say, "Hey, it's here. It's listed under this name." But hey, I failed. So Joe probably making it up. He wants a week off. He's in the Bahamas. That's what we assume. We can only assume he's in the Bahamas.
Thanks to y'all, Joel, sneaking off, catching the first few minutes of the Thursday show. Kiwi Slayer, I don't know. You were actually just in New Zealand, Adam. So
Yeah, I was. It went pretty well. I freaking love New Zealand now. I can't wait to go back. And Hobbiton, I legitimately one of the highlights of my year, and I've had a really good year. So thank you, New Zealand.
Yeah, Nikki, good to see you. We are going to be talking about a couple of events, actually 3 events coming up this weekend. The first one's the biggest one in our roster today. This is the Hanseatic Alliance Open from Hoofddorp, Netherlands. I'm told that's in Europe. 143 players, 6 rounds-ish, 6-ish rounds. If you're going to that event, please let us know.
It's on Pun Pun. I actually don't know how many rounds there are. There could be 7, there could be 9. It's called the Super Major, so it could be a 3-dayer. I'm not sure. I just chucked in 6 with a question mark.
I think if the number of players puts it in that super major category, look, if you're going there, you know what you're in store for. We'll try to give our predictions based off what we believe is a 6-round event. And it does matter. I think it might be worth talking about that because sometimes it sounds like we probably just fire off, like this faction's going to win, that faction's going to win. A lot of the math goes into how many rounds of the event are there? What is the likelihood that the rounds coalesce into certain what we consider the dominant factions?
And certainly you got to take into account with the armor you choose to take to such an event. I mean, you don't want to take a thing with a phenomenal amount of moving parts where one thing falls over, you lose a round and you can't win the event because you just got too many order of operation stuff, too many keys and buffs and synergies and things you got to keep accounting for.
Unless you're an absolute champion or a Chad.
Yes, unless you are just got a brain like a vice. And you can just put things together. But it is horses for courses. We always see so many night players rock up to the LVO. There's always an overabundance of night players because it's a long event, many rounds, can go late into the night, and some people are just there for the Vegas just as much as the event.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things you got to keep in mind too. Like you said, the amount of people that go bring the knights to Vegas, they'll do it even if knights are garbage, which they aren't right now.
That's right.
But they'll bring it if they're garbage because one, they're fun to play, they're easy to transport, and you will not break your back playing it. You'll get to play your game and then go enjoy the nightlife of Vegas, which is legendary. I'll say.
Yeah, it can be. It is what you make it.
It's quite good. It's quite good.
Yeah, so in this event, so we'll run down and tell us what you see there in just a second, but I also want to point out as far as also calling winners of things, the U.S. Open Series finale that Games Workshop put on, Orcs and Eldari took down the 2 categories of Warhammer 40,000. I don't know that if anyone would have called those factions, even harkens back to the some of the things that we say always, consider the pilot of some of these lists as well.
Absolutely.
It is as much skill as it is some list efficiency and choices. So
Absolutely.
yeah, Dustin, tell us what we're going to see at this tournament.
I would love to. So the Imperial Super Faction, we're looking at 5 Sisters of Battle, 4 Custodes, 2 Admech, 4 Astra Militarum, 4 Grey Knights, and 7 Imperial Knights. Space Marines, there's 5 Dark Angels, 1 Blood Angel, 1 Ultramarine, 1 Salamander, 1 Black Templar, 2 White Scars, 5 Iron Hands, and 2 Death Watch. That is an interesting spread for Space Marines.
Listen, can I pause just 1 second?
Yeah, for sure.
How are going to be 143 players there and only 1 Blood Angel?
I figured that was where you're going to go. There's 5 Dark Angels, 5 Iron Hands, and White Scars making an appearance, but no, it's the Blood Angels that Paul is going to focus in on.
I'm sorry, I'll shut up now for this part.
What is interesting is that they're considered the strongest Space Marine faction, but I can tell you from this weekend, they are not represented strongly on any of the events that we're unpacking. So it is actually an interesting thing. People turned off them because, like Sisters, some other factions are becoming very well known. Their play pattern, the way they are used, the way they're wielded, and what they're going to do to you has not changed since that book came out. Literally, Paul, like at 2 tournament games, you have played at least 1 unit of Death Company, 3 into Sangard for the last 3 years. Yeah,
that's exactly right. Yeah, that is exactly right. Yes,
it's true. It is pretty telegraphed for the most part now. People are used to it. They know what they're going to know what to expect. They're probably ready to play against it. You're right.
Apart from adding in the Whirlwind, so you don't get deaded by flamers on the charge. There's not really much tech that's seeped into there.
And taking out like what, an infiltrator squad or something to deal with
exactly
demons
right.
To get
Yeah,
that. Like, you probably want the infiltrator squad more now.
Well, there is a thing to say that a player base gets bored. They get flavor stuff. They're just like, well, it just tastes the same. I need to mix it up. I need to move around a little bit.
Great points.
So sorry.
Speaking of points might be changing like soon enough. So then might switch up things. And get some new meta out there with guard coming too. Like things are about to get snow globed, So we're gonna see what it's gonna look like at LVO and afterwards too. I'm always excited for this time of the seasons. Where was I? Chaos. There's 8 T-Suns, 5 Death Guards, 6 Demons, and 8 Renegade Knights. Heretic Astartes, there's 4 Emperor's Children, 3 Creations of Bile, 2 Black Legion, a Night Lord, and a Word Bearer. Xenos, there's 11 Necrons, 4 Orcs, 6 Tau, and 4 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 10 Tyranids, and 4 G's they're called. Nice. All right.
Crazy world we live in.
This is great. I love this. Now, Dire, there's 3 Drukhari, 5 Harlequins, 4 Asturiani, and 2 Inari, meaning the faction podium is CSMs and Necrons topping off at 11. The Europeans love their Necrons.
They do.
Second at 10, and then Renegade Knights and T-Suns in the third with 8. That's not surprising, but it's a little bit nuanced, I think. T-Suns have been making a rise lately.
I legitimately thought you were going to say when we got down there, like 47 Death Guard. That's what I thought. Like, okay, that's why we only have 1 Blood Angel player.
That's right. The Europeans love their Death Guard too.
But I think they've migrated to Necrons and Thousand Suns.
Maybe.
And Thousand Suns have got such a new lease on life with the addition of the usually it's the Vanguard of Demons, just giving them a whole new play pattern, a way to project a lot of strength. And the first list we're going to be unpacking when we get to it will be a T-Suns Demons list. But before we go there, a bit of a black trip this weekend. Very few Imperial Knights and quite a bit of Renegade Knights. Do any reason you guys can think of for why we see the flip?
Well, it's 7 Imperial Knights and 8 Renegade.
So it's not just this one. So this one usually we see it the other way around. Usually there's 1 or 2 more Imperial than Renegade, and this weekend it's either no Imperial Knights or Renegades are more than Imperial.
I think terrain has to be a factor there, because when you can put the 13 or 11 War Dogs on the table.
Yeah.
And have them zip across the table feeling unobstructed, I think that makes them a lot more viable choice. I would have to imagine it's terrain dependent.
Well, because there is no top tier Imperial Knights list that has all smalls, right? There's always a minimum of a big, and then 9 to 10 smalls. Whereas the Renegade Knight build, you can have the 13 smalls, or you could, like you said, have the 11 and Abby walking the dogs. And they're both top tier. They're both really, really strong. And I did see more of those in here than others as well. So yeah, I just thought it was an interesting thing to bring to note for people. Let's jump in, talk about some of the top players in attendance. This is a very stacked event. A lot of people who played in the WTC for the Netherlands and for surrounding European countries are in attendance. But the first and foremost, Mr. Manny Chima is in attendance. He's ranked 6th in the ITC overall. He's playing T-Suns, Cult of Duplicity, and Demons of Zinch. And this is an list we've seen him play recently, but with some key tweaks. Now, I'm going to run through for you right now. Duplicity T-Suns up first. You've got a battalion with Ahriman, an Exalted Sorcerer, and Infernal Master. 5 units of 5 rubrics. 9 Scarab Occult Terminators, no weapons. 3x3 Zangor Enlightened. And then lastly, he has a Vanguard with his with his Zinch Demons in it. He's got a Fate Skimmer, 6/6/3 Flamers. So some key things that have happened here.
First, we got to assume that like banners on all the rubrics and everything.
Exactly right. Banners on all rubrics. I think there's one unit that had a couple of Flamers in it as well. I'm assuming because he has some extra points. But this is the second time, or maybe even the third week in a row, we've seen a Scarab Occult unit compromised by not being a 10 guys, in addition to having all the special weapons taken off in order to add more units to the army overall. And the second thing he's done, which is different, is that he could have 3/5. He could have 3x5 units of Flamers. Rather than having 3x5, he's gone 6/6/3. And I'm actually a big fan of this. I think this is possibly the way I would do it, or the way I would advocate doing it, because it lets you have a small unit of Flamers on the board to assist you with getting an angle, getting around a corner, clearing a screen, and doing stuff like that. You don't always need a 5-man Flamer unit to. Usually, it's so often 5 is overkill. And 3 can be too not enough. But if you find the ways to use them appropriately, 3 is perfect, and 6 can do all the big dunking. And then, how do you boys feel about the Zangor Enlightened?
I'm seeing them more and more now. They're a good tech piece. I have to look at them more because
they fly though, right? Those are the ones that jump.
Yeah, they're speedy. They're speedy.
Yeah. How you got to get rid of those sun sharks?
That's true. Things like planes. Otherwise, apart in a regular T-Suns list, you have, unless you take a flying dim prince, a wince, if you will, you literally have no way to charge a plane. But with the Enlightened you do. But I believe it is because you want to, as a T-Suns player, you never want to start the trading war with losing unit of rubrics. You'd much rather start the trading war with losing 3 nobodies you don't care about. You don't lose any Cabal Ritual points for it. It's faster, so it's got better reach, especially in Hold 2 objective missions. I've seen a lot of T-Sun armies that I've personally played against be forced to do gem movement. Sorry, what is it? Geometry names. The redeploy move or the gate power in order to just get 5 points to holding 3 objectives in a Hold 2 mission. The Zangor Enlightened really take a lot of the pressure off in your first movement phase. So that's what I think they're there for. Usually, maybe sometimes we'd see a Rhino instead, but I like this better.
No, you nailed it. I think that you're exactly right. I think that's probably what the general had to do. How do you remove a Terminator, which is often sometimes like the last models of your army on the tabletop. So you're trading a little more front end efficiency for the back end when it might matter the most. And so that has to be, everything you describe has to be the path there.
In addition, all the weapons going off the Scarab Occults, I'm here for that. I think stuff the weapons. Maybe keep the Soul Reaper cannons if you really wanted to, but as soon as you go below 10, you can't have 2 Soul Reapers anyway. So if you're not going to have 2, maybe don't have any.
The Soul Reapers are nice, but it is just kind of more win. It's especially when you have the Flamers in the army. That the big units and all the Soul Reapers and all the stuff were great before the Flamers existed, but now you've got a little bit of that.
Well, it's true. You have the Flamers in there, so the Scarabs aren't there to do their damage with the guns now anymore. They're there to be durable. They're there to sit on objectives, teleport somewhere, and just be a nuisance. They can still do a little bit of damage because they have the strats. They have good AP2 weapons with they can get +1 to wound with, right? They're still good, but I feel like the amount of points that their weapons are worth, it's better to just stuff them, like you said. You have Flamers now, like you have the Psychic. You don't need that stuff. And from my point of view, I get why he would take off that 1. Put it down to 9 because when you're at 10, it's like, I'm at 10. I have to take all the weapons. You put it down to 9. It's like, all right, cool. Now I don't have to. I can't.
Now I don't have to.
Can't do it.
I feel like I'm being inefficient. I've tricked my mind into not wanting them.
All right. So next top player in attendance is Justin Jansen. This is one of the WTC Team Netherlands players from this year. Team 2022. He's playing Drukhari, Prophets of Flesh, Coteries of the Homunculi. This is a meme team dream, baby. You'd love to see this in a team event.
Is that the one out of the Rift War or whatever?
Yeah, this is the Oops All Racks getting 4+ Feel No Pains.
God.
Yeah. It is Urian Rakath, 3 units of 20 racks. A Homunculus, 3 units of 20 racks. Drizar, 3 units of 20 racks, and 5 Scourges. That's the list. It's got 9 units of 20. It's the 180 racks, which could...
Why not? Like, you had all those racks from last season. You might as well bring them out every now and then.
This thing's disgusting. I mean, I'm not sure how good. I'm actually not sure how good it is because it can't be one of the best lists in the games because I don't see it often. In teams, I know it's phenomenal, but I love it. I love it. I don't want to play it, but I love it.
That'd be terrible to play, but yeah, it'll have play. I think it has a couple bad matchups, obviously, but it's one of those lists that if you can't deal with it, you won't. Like it's just...
Well, I worry about how this list deals with like 3 units of flamers at times. But then again, like it has each unit has ossifactors. So if you can get enough units, if you get enough of your ossifactors to see, you can start dealing some mortals here, there, and everywhere. But there are some armies who just can't play with this, who just can't play the game with this, who just get overrun, swamped, drowned. And every turn, you pay CP after you get a kill, yeah, and the unit that gets the kill gets a full plus, feel no pain.
Yeah, or and then, if they just are below half
strength.
So I think there was some other way.
Yeah. So any of them get it when they're below half strength, or you can pay CP after you get a kill. And so you can just plink, try and finish it with the forward unit. You know, when you got 1 or 2 guys left, like you got a couple of cultists left, and try and get the Aussies to finish off the last squad. And then bang, 4+ invulnerable, 4+ feel no pain, the closest squad, and off you go. It's Prophets of Flesh as well. They got the Fight's Last Relic in there. I know for a fact on the Homunculus. Drazar's no slouch for getting you out of a tight
actually, Drazar, that's doing him a disservice. Like he's a beast. He can kill basically everything that your Rax main struggle to punch through.
It does. So people are saying the new Votann would wreck this. Funnily enough, they actually would. Like especially the Pioneers from range, units of 6 Pioneers with all those, not assault cannons, whatever you want to call them, would do an absolute number on this, unfortunately.
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
Like we said, Dustin said this is a win big, lose big kind of a list.
It's actually a great teams list for sure. Maybe he's practicing for teams,
Well, maybe once it's trying to get his spot back.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paul.
No, that was a great point. Like sometimes you take experiment list, to see how they fare. It's like, well, I went, 4-1 or 5-1, depending 7-1, depending on the rounds of this tournament. We're still a little bit, still don't know. But granted, you didn't win, but you have a use case of playing into a field, and then if you with a couple of tweaks, especially picking your matchups or influencing your matchups as a team list, you get a lot. There's a lot of value from this information that could be gleaned from that. So you might be on the right call.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I think. I've said it before. I said it again. I play singles to practice my team list, so I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Yeah. All right, last of the list we'll be unpacking for today, Dick Vanderhaast, not only because he was a member of the WTC for Team Netherlands as well, which is the home country of this, but also I just wanted to say Dick on the show. Now I've said it twice, I'll move on. Now, I've been looking everywhere, so I look at a lot of lists for the Thursday show every week, and I'm really keen to see top players who don't take things like the Silent King. Like if you're a top player and you play Necrons and you don't play the Silent King, there's more chance I'm going to look at your list, because it's off meta. It's what we've been used to for the last 6 months, and it's starting to evolve and change. I've done the same thing.
Off meta. Do you know what? Is it because he has 3x27 scarabs?
No, it's not.
That's
it's not
a lot of scarabs.
I'm giving a demonstration.
That's in the Rex.
Exactly right. I'm giving a demonstration of just how much more list you get when you maybe don't take some of these things. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I've done the same thing with a list further down where they didn't take Abaddon in a word bearers list.
So be off meta, or list our names in your description of if you're going to a major.
There's the key.
But anyway,
on the show.
If you're a top player and taking a known list that's exactly the same as the meta list, you're less likely to get highlighted, unless you're one of the top 10 in the world, in which case you're going to get on no matter what you bring. Necrons, Expansionists, and Conquerors, of course, got Outrider, Chronomancer, 3 units of 9 Scarabs. I bet 3x27, 3 units of 9 for a total of 27 Scarabs. 339 Tomb Blades, so there's a max unit of Tomb Blades in there. 2 single heavy destroyers, then we're going to his Vanguard, which is a Chronomancer, single Canoptic Spider, a single Hexmark Destroyer. Interesting to see the Hexmark come back. 3 units of 6 Scorpex, 6 Race, and another single Heavy Destroyer. There just seems to be so much more army in there without the Silent King, and
I love it.
I think I'm here for it.
Yeah, so here's a Dracoria says, hate Necrons, but I love this list.
It's true, though. Like the Silent King is really good, but we're thinking about 400 points. That's 3 units of Scorpex.
Yes. Right. Yeah, that's literally his 6 Wraiths.
27 Scarabs.
27 Scarabs. Actually, it's more than... It's more than
Yeah.
that.
It's the 6 race. It's the pumping up the Tomb Blades to a 6-man instead of just having 3-3-3. And then it's probably either the Spider or the Hexmark in addition to those changes. Why? So he's gotten 2 units here that generally don't bring a lot of range but bring density of shot and some dynamic movement. That being the Tomb Blades and the Hexmark. We haven't seen the Hexmark in a very long time. Are there any meta adjustments you think that have happened that would make the Hexmark more appealing at the moment?
The Hedgemark is the one with all the shots, right?
It's to deal with flamers. To deal with flamers because he comes in to counter shoot when they come in from deep strike.
Hit it in one, brother. Hit it in one. You're picking it
up. I'm good at this game.
Yeah, it's to counter assault somebody's flamer unit that wants to deep strike down, or even bloodletters. Someone tries to deep strike, batter a bloodletters in. Usually, you only got 10 bloodletters. Hexmark comes in, kills half of them, and they make the charge. They don't kill the unit anymore.
Yep.
Happy days, don't flip the objective, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I think it's a really good pick at the moment, especially with the demons in it. It's going to get even better, I believe, with Guard coming in as well, because he's actually a perfect guardsman killing machine for popping down screens.
He'll definitely pick up some Kasserkin. And
dude, there's a Capsicum that deep strike. They have a gem redeploy deep strike, and they're going to pick that guy up. They want to put those Capsicum behind your lines and just waste all your stuff. Possibly pick up a sniper character or something, and just like, here's my little octo pistol douchebag. He's going to drop in right next to you. There you go, half dead, and happy days again. The other one is the Tomb Blades. The Tomb Blades, I believe, is exactly the same. I think they're here for demons.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit more Tesla coming back in as well because they slippity slap the lesser demons to bits.
You think demons? Is it the volume of shots? Do you think the volume of shots gets through the 4+? Because Tzeentch demons is what we're talking about. We're not really talking about other demons, and they're not getting through the Bloodthirster. They probably won't kill Bellicorp, so you're really trying to fire into Tzeentch demons. Do they match up well?
Yeah, I think they do, because the only quality into demons is quantity. The amount of quantity of saves you can make them take. Lesser demons hate Tesla. And to your point, it's all lesser demons. You're right. They're not going to crack the Bloodthirster too well. Is there a 1 CP auto wound on 6's strat that I remember for Gorse? Someone in the chat, let me know, because that could be a play as well. Because then you could theoretically have SK there. Not that this guy has it, but you could have 9 Tomb Blades with all Gorse fishing out 6s into a
I believe there is
greater demon, which could feel pretty good, right? That could feel okay. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Maybe it's an experiment on Dick's part.
Well, it's actually good into Votan too, because they have 4-up saves, right? So volume into them is actually a good way to go a lot of the time too.
That's actually a good point as well. Yeah, not too bad. But anyway, that's the list for this of this great Alliance Open. It's a great event every year in the heartland of the WTC nations in Europe. Usually some of the biggest and brightest in the singles game come out, showing their wares. Really excited to see who takes this one. What do we think's winning, boys?
It's hard to not go with that Thousand Suns list.
It is. I mean, Manny's a great player, of course, and seen him, if not winning events, knocking on the door, winning events, really knows how to play with the complexities of the Thousand Suns. They're an army that does take some skill. I call it on the higher end of the skill curve as far as like armies go, and that player can bring it. So gotta go with that as well.
That said, though, Dick's list. I really like Dick's list. It's a big Dick list. I love it.
That was literally my call as well. I was going to go for Dick and his Necrons. I think it's a phenomenally good list. The only thing I like about him into the T-Suns matchup is that he has all the Scarabs. He can put the Scarabs up and absorb the Flamers, make them hit the table and hit the Scarabs, and then try and clean them up with the Scorpex and have the response force.
I feel like he actually read the meta really well with this list. I like it.
Me too. Literally, that's exactly what I saw as well. When I saw this list, I was like, well, I think he's read it pretty perfectly. All right, jumping down. What's the next event, boys?
Yeah, next one is the Western Australia Masters from Kelmscott. Surprise, surprise. It's in Western Australia, in Australia. Now, what y'all call Western Australia, I couldn't tell you. Is it on this side of the map or this side of the map?
Left-hand side of the map.
So this side
literally,
of the map?
you see Australia. Yeah, you got the sunny bit on the right with the barrier reef, and then there's a bunch of stuff, and then a whole third of the country is just one thing, one state. And that's Western Australia. It's desert and Perth. And Perth's the city. Rest of it, there are some nice bits. There's some really beautiful beaches, like amazing fishing, some of the best in the world. And Perth, where a lot of my mates live, and I'm repping them. This is the Perth. This is the Western Australian team jersey for this year.
I hope to make it over there someday. It sounds gorgeous. 48 players, 6-round event. What are we going to see there?
We're going to see 1 Sister of Battle, 3 Custodes, 5 Astra Militarum, and that's the Imperium Super faction. Wow. Okay. Moving. Space Marines. 1 Space Wolf, 1 Blood Angel, 1 Black Templar. Chaos, there's 1 T-Sun, 2 Death Guard, 3 Demons, 2 Renegade Knights. Heretic Astartes, there's 3 Word Bearers, 2 Creations of Bile, 2 Emperor's Children. Xenos, there's 1 Necron, 1 Orc, 6 Tau, and 2 Votan. Hivemind, there's 4 Tyranids and 1 Gene Stealer Cult. Eldari, there's 2 Harlequins, 3 Asuriani, and 2 Ynnari, which means the faction podium is CSM topping it off with 7. Tau in second with 6, and Guard in third with 5.
Is the new codex in effect for those for this event?
It is not.
Really?
But that's the baby. Remember the baby wave? We always talk about the baby wave.
Yeah.
In the weeks before a new codex, you will see a resurgence of that as people get on the wave, get on their boards, swim out to the waves, and get ready to ride. And so we're seeing it over here in Western Australia in action.
And I was, I kind of could go either way. I'd say, it's always tournament organizers' prerogative about what to allow and what not. But when it comes out in a limited army box, you certainly have a lot of agency to maybe not, allow that included in an army. But when I saw 5, I'm like, well, maybe they did.
Exactly. I thought the same. I had to go and check, and no. But so there's some. It's really weird, yeah. So the adoption of the codex is when they're just in a limited release book. There are some. It's funny how geographically that's like more on the nose than others, and not on the nose. I mean, and so like in Australia, it's almost not even a thought of where will we or won't we. It's no, because it's actually really hard to get product in Australia at times. And so it's kind of gatekeeping. Well, unless it's a brand new faction like Votan. What you're doing is you're gatekeeping the previous players, the existing players, out of playing the new stuff, unless they can run and get it off sometimes a scalper who's got it at an exorbitant price. And so it's just realistic in Australia, especially, to just wait until the new stuff comes out. For general release, that is. But I know it's different geographically to geographically. Like in America, you wouldn't even think of playing with the old rules. You just bang new rules.
Cool. Just to have the conversation, because again, it's the tournament organizers. They want everybody to have fun, and they're the kind of the deliverers of what is going to be fun and cool in their environment, and are the main source of what that should be. And so I was just,
so they look at their player base, and there's like 4, on the poverty line guard players, and like, can't put the codex in. Can't do it to their families. Too close to Christmas. Make them run out and find the new codex. But anyway, top players in attendance for this one. Oh, sorry. Interesting meta picture from here. 6 Tau. Generally, they do have quite good terrain there, so I'm interested to see how the Tau players go over in WA. And CSM being number 1. It's not unusual. I mean, what was CSM number 1 in the previous as well? They were number 1. There's also number 1. And the Ask completely gone out of Space Marines. 3 out of 48. Like, wowee.
Yeah. Well, they're all in the Netherlands.
That's right. That's absolutely right. But anyway, top players in attendance. First and foremost,
Black Templar keep making it into lists. I mean, that's
true.
Hey, there was white scars in the Netherlands, man. That's the most surprising thing to me.
But dude, there was 2 white scars in there.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're right, Paul. There's always like 1 Black Templar. Look, go to any event, look under a rock. There'd be that 1 Black Templar player. There's always.
You have to have
one.
at least 1 person can carry on the crusade in every region.
It's the rules. Every crusade's got to have a champion, and they are. But first top players in attendance, I put Michael Horton. He's a good Kent. The list of because we've got the Kent GT. I'm just calling some good people some good Kents. Michael Horton is a good mate of myself and the lads. He's a lovely Western Australian gentleman. He's got a couple of brothers in the scene. It's like him and 2 of his brothers just happening lads doing well in the competitive scene. He's playing Asuriani, Custom Craft World, Webway Warriors, and Vengeful. And I am in love with this list. I really like this list.
You're going to have to tell me what the Vengeful does.
When we get to the end, let me run through it. Tell the story. Tell the tale first. Set the stage.
Okay.
He's got a battalion, 2 Farseers and a Farseer Skyrunner, so 3 Farseers. And I think I know why at the end. A 4 Warlock Council, so 4 single on foot. A Warlock Skyrunner, so a super amount of psychic support already. 3x5 Rangers, 10 Dire Avengers, 5 Fire Dragons, 5 Banshees, 2x5 Hawks, 8 Wraithblades with Action Shield, which I personally think is my favorite choice. 3 Shining Spears, a single Falcon, and the Webway Gate to chuck it all in. So, what is Vengeful and a Webway Warriors? Well, I can't remember which one's which, but one of them gives you exploding 6s just all the time on every attack. Range
sounds very vengeful to me.
Vengeful.
And one of them gives you exploding 6s in combat. So every unit in this army has double exploding sixes in combat and exploding sixes at range. And what's crazy here is the reason he's got the 3 fast seers, I believe, is to ensure he always has some charge dice. So that anytime he comes out of a webway gate or a falcon, he's just getting into combat and slapping the crap out.
You're talking about when you say charge dice, that's the fate dice that you roll at the beginning of the turn. The far seers allow you to influence those rolls.
Each fast seer lets you reroll one of them. So you can literally just roll it, because advances are 1, a 2 is a charge. So you want to just get as many 2s together as you can and just super power up that falcon and everything coming out of that webway gate. I think there's a really cool twist on it. I'm interested to know if this is just a different flavor of the Ynnari, but you wouldn't get the fate dice easy charges. Sorry, Dustin, I saw your face there. You're about to jump in.
Oh, we lost you for a second.
We lost you for a second, so my face was trying to match your lag.
You're about to jump in for me. Apologies. But yeah, I'm interested to know if this is just a different. This could just be a Ynnari list.
That makes the action shields make way better. That's action shields. I've not seen the action shields be the combo. I've either seen the 2 swords or the wraith cannons on the field. This is the first time I've seen the action shields.
First time I've seen, since the book first came out, and I knew a couple of players who did test a lot of the Wraith Blades here, there, and everywhere. But then they dropped off for more of an MSU flavor. But with almost a guaranteed, like essentially you have 9 dice, because you got 6 dice with 3 rerolls to get 1, 2 to guarantee a 9-inch charge out of the webway gate with the Wraith Blades. That makes them feel pretty damn good. In addition, you have 6 psychers, or no, 5 psychers. Sorry, to make sure they are
more than 5. Oh, I see. To get the rolls,
just to make sure they're buffed to the gills and they're acting like a true Death Star, which they can be. I love this list.
This cracks open lots of secondaries too. So I mean, there's all kind of potential for this list and to score big points.
Yeah, exactly right. And like I said, with all the fate dice manipulation, you make it into combat with something like a Scorpion Exarch, and you can just lay down a couple of 6s for hits that explode into double. You lay down 2 6s, 6 hits, son.
Think about how lethal that is. He's got the Rangers in here for the scout the enemy. He's got all the psychics. So he's got triple redundancy on the either the warp ritual or interrogation. I mean, he's going in there guaranteed 65 points before he's even rolled the first die,
essentially. And it brings the fear of God into your opponent when you put like 3 supercharged melee units and a falcon with a supercharged melee unit in reserve, and then you just chuck down the webway gate on like next to a middle objective and be like, we're gonna party, or we're gonna party, and like make them go everywhere else, like run away. I love it. I think it's a great list.
And I heard what you were saying about could this be a Ynnari list? Yeah, it's just like 1 troop unit away from being Ynnari.
Exactly right. 1 troop unit and probably the Incarn, and it's a Ynnari list.
I don't think he gets the double exploding 6s if he goes that route, though.
No, so it's exchanging it's like moving the bean counters on which part of the metrics you want to expose. Like you want to hit with fights first, there's a +1s to hit, and bunch of mortal wounds, which you probably already still has with this army. It's just it's moving the bean counters. You get a Yinkan, you lose the Wraith Blades probably. But yeah, it's a very different list. But
it's the fate dice that I like for it. It's to be honest, this isn't like the greatest Eldar list I've ever seen, because there's still a lot of things to figure out. But it is definitely what Eldar designed to do. They need like really good units with all of the possible psychic support you could have, because that's what they're good at.
And what
they
I
have
like
is fate dice to do all that stuff.
It's a fresh take. And what I love about this is that this is going to get exponentially better into Votann. Tau, which is everywhere, which there's 6 Tau players here. This is great into Tau. You don't have all your little units on the board to get picked up turn 1 by Sunshark bombers. And I'm interested to know if this is going to end up being good into Guard. The only thing I don't like about the Guard is the Guard have the order to push back the webway gate redeploys. They can push it back 12 inches like infiltrators can. So we'll see. That depends what the Guard builds end up being. But I like this for the future, and I like it being a fresh take on the Asuryani builds. Going into the next one. Good mate of mine, Craig Sumpton. Chaos Demons. He's playing Undivided and a Khorne. Undivided Battalion, a Khorne Patrol. He's got a Bloodthirster, 2 Changecasters, 3x10 Demonettes with 3 Nurglings, 3x5 Flamers, ubiquitous, and then a Patrol with Scarbrand, 2x10 Bloodletters, and 5 Flesh Hounds. Now, we covered a very similar list to this last week, and that's pretty much the reason I wanted to cover it, because I feel like we're almost getting close to a core of the demons list. I mean, apart from the flamers, the things are starting to coalesce to make me start to see lists week after week after week, very similar in build. I mean, at this point, right, the bloodthirst is pretty much the auto take, yeah.
You got to take
Yeah,
him. Sometimes
absolutely.
he by itself rolls over armies, and I say that for the decision making tree that has to happen. And sometimes the players just miss out on getting that. Then he heals one wound, and they're like, "My math is busted. The whole bracket's gone because he healed one wound. What is happening?"
My back
Yeah.
broke, ma. But what's interesting to me is I was really keen to see where we settled on the lesser demons. So, and I did not expect it to be people to be taking essentially 6 units. You count the Nurglings in there, 6 troops. I did not expect to see 6 troop units in demons. I thought we'd see a lot more fleshhounds, screamers, seekers, things that are fast, cheap, and don't have to be can just go clear objectives. Because I thought if you got caught in the trading game, you just want massive speed. But yeah, we're seeing lots of demonettes, more than it needs to take in this unit.
I
Although
was actually about to say, I think he just had 30 demonettes, and that's why we have 30
Makes sense
demonettes.
to me.
yeah, but the fact is, we saw it last weekend, and I saw lists doing this almost something similar the weekend before that, which is what I was getting at. It seems like this is quite close to the list, the demons list. And so Scarbrand boys, how much do you guys know Scar? Have you felt the wrath of old No Wings?
Well,
The no falling back, the extra attacks, it's significant.
it's
It
annoying.
really
It's
is.
he'll kill stuff, but I can't speak much to it because I'm used to dying. When I get shot or hit, I die. I'm used to that. That's fine.
Yeah. So he ignores invulns. He's got Rend 4, like super strength, D3 plus 3, ignore invuln. So it means, I mean, if a Bloodthirster charges you, you're not getting out of anyway. So as far as I can see, he's the same as a Bloodthirster. But the fact he gives +1 attack to all this stuff, into some of the shooting matchups, especially at this event, where I noted there was a lot of Tau, there's a lot of Guard, the Scarbrand only buffs you and hurts them. I mean, oh, cool, you gave another attack to a Crisis Suit. Oh no, the worst. This is horrible. You know, who gives a crap? You know, it's just money into those shooting matchups, and I love it. I'm here for it. But yeah, Craig's a very strong player in the meta over there. I would not be surprised if he cracks a podium at a minimum with this. He could possibly win it all. And the last list I'm going to unpack for you is another mean team dream. This is Tyson Linthorn. He's Mitchy P's favorite because he's running 8 Hellhounds. But let's unpack it. He's got Astra Militarum with Jury Rigged and Gunnery Experts. He's got an Outrider with a Tank Commander, Company Commander, Master of Ordnance, like I said, a unit of 3, and a unit of 2 Hellhounds. And if I remember right, they've all got multi-melters, for whatever reason. Then 2x3 Bassies rounds out the whole shebang. This is hilarious.
It'd be annoying to fight against.
It actually would, wouldn't it? Because you can
Like
just
if
to
you have no way to quickly tag all that stuff and not kill the Hellhounds in close combat when you're tagging them, like that's just it'll start shredding things. That's crazy.
It's pretty funny that this is a list that, like, the reason I say it's Mitch P's favorite, this is a list that Mitch P famously took to an LVO at the start of 8th edition, where he took something like 12 Hellhounds and kind of made them famous. And I felt like this was like the renaissance of the Mitchy P list. And our good man Tyson's kind of waving the flag for him. But this is where, like, when we say the baby wave for Guard players, this is what we see people do before their codex comes out. They just bring out the memes. They're like, why bother trying to make a meta list now when it's all about to change for me in a week? I'm just going to take some fun crap and enjoy myself.
I like these things. Maybe they won't be good. I'm going to play them now while I know what they are, at least.
I mean, take away the multi-melters on all of them and add some more crap to your list, like get some legitimate units in your list. Take some Scions in the elite slots for some deep strike with some plasma guns or melter guns. Funnily enough, Hellhounds aren't horrifically bad into things like demons. Like, you'll put a lot of saves on people. You're not going to scratch the sides of stuff like Votan though, because they're just going to take their or Space Marines. They're going to take their armor saves. But so there's a lot of stuff you just don't have a chance into. But the idea of just like ramming 8 Hellhounds into somebody and just being like, hey, Scarbrand, see how many can you explode? Just see. I reckon 3. I reckon you can kill 3. Let's see. I can roll a couple of 4+.
Isn't there an auto explode strat too? So you could.
There really should have been, but no. I wish.
But they do it on a 4-up though, I think.
They explode on a 4+.
Yeah. There we go. That's what
Yeah. So that's the Western Australia Masters, boys. Who do you think's winning it?
Oh, this is tough.
I really like that Eldar list. I like it
I
a
like
lot.
that Eldar list a lot.
I think that's reading the meta well too.
The more I look at the meta, so we do have there's 2 Votan, 6 Tau, and 5 Guard. So just looking at that, that's like 35% of the event he just like has almost on lock with that list.
Are there any possessed and Terminator bombs in this?
There are 2 creations of bile that
I'm going with Chaos Space Marines.
There he goes. Just slaps it down. Well, it's 2 Emperor's Children, 2 creations of bile, and they will both give that Eldar list a lot of trouble.
There you go.
So yeah, good picks. You're gonna go the Eldar. I'm gonna go the Demons with Craig. I'm gonna back that boy in.
All right. Look, everybody, we're gonna take a quick break. A little bit of station identifications. Please check out the stuff from the Frontline Gaming Network. We're gonna come back, do one more event, and then we got that palette cleanser, which we do each and every week. We call the Fuego Rapido. If you don't know what it is, you're gonna find out. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
At Frontline Gaming, we make the best tabletop gaming mats in the universe. Our mats are durable, rollable, foldable, wipeable, and storable. Oh, and they look damn great too. Join the thousands of tournament regulars and garage gamers who use our mats to bring their gaming surfaces to life. To ensure quality, Frontline Gaming mats are custom made one at a time, printed with high quality ink. Our immersive designs stay crisp and are available in a wide range of styles and sizes. So whether you're playing a war game or a skirmish game, whether you're fighting over an alien tundra, fantastical forest, or real-world setting, there's a great-looking battlefield for you. Our gaming mats are printed on extremely durable neoprene backing, so they won't slide around the table, and they're thick enough to stay flat, protecting what's underneath and allowing for slight uneven surfaces. We know from experience that an easily portable gaming surface is just better. Every mat comes with a sturdy nylon zip-up bag for storage and transportation. Whether your next battle is in your home or at the local game store, you'll be able to unroll your FLG mat and get gaming right away. Our products are all made and tested by passionate gamers at Frontline Gaming HQ right here in the USA. It's time to take your battlefield to a new level. Frontline Gaming, champions of tabletop.
Hey everybody, we are back. Hope you enjoyed that. Talking about the train, the mats, all the coolness. We're going to jump right into the next event. It's going to be Kit Wargaming Grand Tournament from Ashford, England. England, that is in the UK. You might have heard of it.
Is it London?
It is super close to London.
Okay.
So close.
Nailed
it.
it.
You could probably see it from there.
Yeah,
you just walk out your London, walk out to the porch of your London, and say what's up to
the porch of your London.
Ashford. 46 players, 6-round event. This is cool. I actually like the number of players and the number of rounds in this because I think that's going to help add to the drama for the players and how tight it's going to be, like weaving in and out through the crowd and the heavy hitters. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. What are we going to see there?
So Imperial, we're going to see 2 Sisters of Battle, 2 Custodes, and 2 Astra Militarum. Astra Militarum's this is the wave. Here it is. Space Marines, there's 1 Space Wolf, 1 White Scar, and 1 Imperial Fist. What? Okay. Chaos, there's 5 Chaos Space Marines, 1 T-Sun, 3 Death Guard, and 6 Demons, 2 Renegade Knights. Then Xenos, there's 3 Necrons, 4 Orcs, 3 Tau, 3 Votan, Hive Mind, there's a Tyranid, and a Genius to their cults. And Eldari, there's 3 Drukari. Wow. 3 Harlequins and 1 Asuriani, which means the faction podium is Demons, topping it off with 6, Chaos Space Marines in second with 5, and Orcs in third with 4. So that's not a bad spread. Space Marines, a White Scar, an Imperial Fist, and a Space Wolf. What?
It is truly the end times. No Blood Angels, no Dark Angels. I almost quit there. I almost just what is this event?
What does it matter?
Yeah. But it's not a bad spread. And once again, for all 3 events this week have had CSM in the podium. The other 2 having them in the first place, this one in second place. Past 2 events, 0 Imperial Knights in the Western Australia or in Kent. 0 Imperial Knights, but we do have a couple of Renegade Knights, which is what I was getting at before. Apart from that, the outliers it's kind of just what you'd expect, but 6 Demons. Demons having a bit of a heyday at the moment.
Demons are where it's at. Like, you have to plan for them. I mean, if you take nothing away from these shows the last couple of weeks, is it if you are going to a tournament, you have to have a flamer solution. You have to you have to plan for the Bloodthirster. Like, if you don't, you're not winning the event.
Dude, spot on. Yeah, if you don't have a solution, you're just asking for it. Top
Gonna
players
get burned.
Absolutely. Top players in attendance here. Dominic Matthews, Short King and Joya. This is the leagues of Votan. Urani Surtur Regulates. This is the +1 toughness build.
Oh, I didn't know what it was called. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this our first Votan on the show since all the units have been released?
No, we did one previously.
We did
one,
where
they made a podium. Actually, they made a podium last week with Dustin. Yeah, we did one.
Okay. This is the first one that I've been here for where Votan have been out since the unit. So curious to see this out. And I also see a Rogue Troop Smash in the chat. Troop Smash, good to see you, my boy from a long time.
So he's got a battalion with a Brokia Forge Master, an Ihir Champion, and a Grimnir. Notably absent there is a Karl. 3x10 Hearthkin. 5 Berserkers, 5 Hearthguard, 2x6 Pioneers, so 2 max unit of bikes with all the trimmings, a Sagittar, which comes as a double, and then a Land Fortress with a Magna, so that's a single Land Fortress. Everything in this army is +1 freaking toughness. Who would have dreamt that would be a strong choice? So we did a Ymir before. I think we've done Ymir Congloms a couple of times, but I'm interested to get archetypes in, like, looking at different ones now while they're still fresh. I'll try and get a what's the one with the special character in it?
The Greater Thurian.
Greater Thurian League. Yeah,
I'll try and get a Greater Thurian for the guys next week or the week after. But yeah, toughness 9 on the land fortress, toughness 6 on the bikes, toughness 5 on all the infantry. It can be pretty oppressive.
It's a pain in the butt, that's for sure, because they're already tough and annoying to deal with. I feel like the Urani, the +1 toughness league. I can't even say that. I don't know why. I like that for like a horde kind of build for them. I think like maybe mass Hearthkin or something, or mass Pioneers. He's got 12 Pioneers. Like that's terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying.
Well, that's the mass, right? Like, I mean, I always assumed when I would see a list for these guys, there'd be a couple of 20-man troops. Yeah, I just assumed this would be the one where you smash 25 troops, put the medipack on them, just march them into the middle and say, "Come at me, bruh." Acting quite a lot like the Racks would in the previous list. Funnily enough.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, there are some parallels there. Toughness 5 on them, toughness 5 on these. It was quite interesting.
That's true. That's true.
So that's what I assumed, but no, instead the big density of wounds is on those Pioneers, is on the bikes. And I think the bikes are the best unit in the book, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, they are.
What is interesting here is the Sagittars. Yeah, he's only got 5 Zerkers. So what I'm assuming is going to happen is a unit of Hearthguard, a unit of Hearthkin, Warriors is going to start in so to break up into units of 5. 1 into 5 is going to get out turn 1, and the Zerkers are going to get in 1. And then you've got your 2 units of 5, and you've got the 5 Zerkers into transport. Unless you're going to need them turn 1, which I actually quite like. When I saw that in there, I thought, that's a logical thing to do. Makes a lot of sense. I think it's quite strong. How do we feel about this one, especially when you've seen the field now as well?
Votan is very strong. I'm seeing very similar lists right now in terms of what Votan's starting to bring. It's going to be a lot of Pioneers, 1 unit of Berserkers, 1 unit of Hearthguard, 1 to 3 units of Hearthkin, depending on if they need a battalion or just taking patrol, and then at least 1 Land Fortress. Sometimes I'm seeing 2 if they have the Forge Master in there. Sagittars I'm seeing a little bit less of. I think they're really good. They're good to carry like the Berserkers in or something, anything you want to carry in them, because they do have that mini transport capacity and they have a lot of good guns on themselves. But I think the common thing you're seeing a lot now, the 1 unit Berserkers, Hearthguard, as many Pioneers as you can fit, really.
Yeah.
And then the Forge Master and usually the Champion, but the Grimir, that's some people have that one, someone don't. It's common to see a lot of these. I think the Votan is not figured out, but they're kind of seeing a trend of what they're using right now.
The points, the preliminary points hammer seem to really do this list to add in that variance. Otherwise, we would have just seen 3 Land Fortresses all the time. And so I think that really was a great adjustment to start, so we can see these kind of varied lists. And there's going to be, it's not just 500 points that's different. We're seeing 1,000 point that are different each one of these lists, which is pretty cool.
The only unit in that I've seen that I'm not convinced on is the Hearthguard. I've not played against Votan yet, so this is just me looking at their data sheet, looking at what I believe their role in the army is, and I look at that and I'm like, I'd rather have more Zerks or more bikes personally, but that's a much of a muchness.
Well,
I'll probably
learn
more the first time.
What are they armed with?
They're the Terminators.
They're the Terminators that can teleport. Yeah. They have. I'm sure they'll have the guns and probably close combat weapons.
Yeah, I was curious to what configuration they were in.
Most loosely, we see the Volkites, which is the mortal wound dealer, and the Plasma Blade, which is essentially the mastercrafted power sword.
Yeah.
I think, or it's just a regular power sword. Can't remember which one. But yeah, that is that list. Jumping down, next one is Andrew Birchfield. He's an absolute boss because he's playing Imperial Fists, and I knew as soon as I saw it, in a fist play, I'm like, mate, it's a tradition. It's a tradition on this show that in the UK, if you bring a Mimi Imperial Fist list, it's likely you're getting.
You say Mimi. This is
how many Centurions does he have?
Yeah, all of them.
Yes,
better have all of them.
No, what he's got is all the box noughts, which I adore. I love me a box nought. He's got a Vanguard, just a single Vanguard, Primaris Techie, 5 Infiltrators and Apothecary, 4 Servitors, 6 Assault Centurions.
There they are.
With many
stop there.
Melter Guns, 3 Ironclads, a Venerable Dread, 6 Devastator Centurions.
Oh my God, there's more of them.
I told you, all of them.
All of them. He's got 12 and 3 Eliminators to round it out. This is hilarious. And I adore it. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. It's got so many models in it that I just have such nostalgia for me. And Ironclad is one of my favorite models. Just straight up, I love an Ironclad. Just so boss, such a boss model. Anyway, yeah. Funnily enough, there are some armies that just can't deal. They just can't deal with this. Oh, you dropped Flamers on my Centurions in cover. I don't care. I've taken 2 ups, and I'm going to delete you with just Hurricane Bolters. Like stuff like that, or freaking Auspex scanned,
Yeah. You killed one. I guess I just gotta bring him back, and now I'm 4 inches closer to charge you. That's weird how that happened.
It is true, but then this plays against something like T-Suns, and it just they just evaporate with mortal wounds like a whole unit of Centurions.
Hey, they've got their shock tactics.
They'll be fine.
Fine. Yeah, they got the shock tactics. Love it. Yeah, and you just shove a boxy out front, pay the CP for the 5+ feel no pain. You can get by here. But this is a really funny army. I adore this. Where you don't want this is against the Votan list we just covered.
Well, I want to point out though that the dreadnoughts really do pretty well at soaking damage. They've got the rule in the unit or in the army, so maybe they just don't get killed ever.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's true. They can just survive a game. So a lot of quality fire. What is interesting about this list is that there is no rerolls coming out of this apart from the CP you spend to do it on your dreadnoughts. So I'm assuming the Ven Dread is going to be babysitting the Dev Sense and paying a CP every turn to give them either real ones to hit or ones to wound from the stratagem. Because apart from that,
that's the Legacy of the Ancients or something. Or
Wisdom of the Ancients or some crap. And
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just because otherwise there is literally no redundancy in this list. There's no way to make your stuff do better than your data sheet provides, which I think is cute. I like that. I actually like that. He may have the lieutenant. He could have the lieutenant aura on the Tech Marine. I forgot to check if he had the. Is it the Iron Kipnoth?
The Warlord traits, or the relics or whatever.
There's a relic to give out a lieutenant aura, so maybe he's doing that, and then the Vendred gives the captain's aura. But either way, it's a fun list. I hope he has a phenomenal time, and what a fun way to go about the game. Anyway, Matt Averta is up next. He's playing Wordbearers, Heretic Astartes. He's got a battalion, and I didn't want to hurt Dustin twice, so I wrote down Demon Prince with Wings. Demon Prince with Wings. I can only hit him so many times before he leaves the show. Lord Discordant, Master of Possessions, 2x10 Cultists, 5 Legionaries, 5 Chosen, Master of Executions, 2x5 Possessed, a Venom Crawler, 10 Warp Talents, and those Warp Talents do have the Black Rune, 3 Obliterators, and a Termite Assault Drill. What's interesting about this list, there are no Terminators, and there's no Abaddon, and just look how much more list I feel like this has.
It almost didn't fit on the page.
There's so much stuff in it. There's just so much list in this list. I'm not saying it's the right way to go, but I feel like it is a legitimate way you can play the army.
I like it. It's the 10 Warp Talons. That's
might be yeah.
Do they still do like the anti-leadership or bubble around them or something?
They also deny fallback.
Maybe that's what it. Yeah,
they trap you in combat.
I mean, with their lightning claws, they're rerolling to hit and wounds. I mean, they're very consistent. That's for sure.
as a guy who might be playing guard soon, that's a terrifying unit.
That's true.
It's actually a terrifying unit. Maybe it should be maybe it could be Emperor's Children to honor the prince from reserve to get in a bit more efficiently. I'm sitting here trying to figure out what goes into Termite in this configuration. What do you guys guesses?
The Chosen.
I thought it'd be Chosen. I can Possessed go in him?
I don't think so.
So the Master of Execution, the Chosen,
and the Legionaries maybe.
The Legionaries, yeah.
Just make a little bit of everything.
Hell's 12, right? The Termite drill.
I would be surprised. I actually look it up really quickly.
But yeah, the Master of Execution, the Chosen for sure, and then the Legionaries possibly.
It might be that the Termite gets to take things others can't.
10. I got a Chaz command, or at least it said they think it's 10, but we'll check.
The Mechanicus one says 12.
This isn't Mechanicus though. This is Chaos.
This is the Chaos one. All right, I got the Chaos.
I can see in the chat.
It is also 12.
That's what I'm seeing.
That
was 12.
There we go. So there you go. Legionnaire, Chosen, Executioner. Maybe the Master Possession, but probably not.
Obliterators could go in there.
Yeah, I think the Possessed can go in this one. Just looking at this. Yeah, I might be wrong. Might be reading this.
I remember it being like super open. It's like, hey, have a transport and just like put as much 12 bases or whatever you want in there.
I'd still probably put the Chosen in there, and then maybe one unit Possessed.
Yeah,
because if you have the Master Possession, maybe put the 2 Possessed in there with the Master Possession.
And
I think you're counting on the that like the Possessed just being on the table, like big old footprints. And
I would think so, but I mean, it does give versatility. The fact that we have to discuss it means he can switch it up game by game depending on what he needs, right?
Yeah.
Oh, very true. Good point.
Absolutely. But yeah, I like to look at this list. I think the Warp Talons is a pretty fresh take on this as well, and I'm interested to see how they go. Of course, they're going to really struggle against anything where they have to win them on 5s or God forbid 6s like a Bloodthirster or something. But there are a lot of units in the meta right now that they are terrified of. When they are -1 to wound. But what is interesting here is that he only has the Master of Possessions to buff them, and admittedly, they can't be in reserve if you're going to buff them with them. So you can't. Sorry. I'm thinking of Dark Apostle. Dark Apostle's command phase, Master Possession's psychic phase. So you can deep strike them and buff them, but then you'd assume if you're sending them off to do a job, you're not going to get to buff them again. They're going to be out of range. So maybe the Demon Prince is there to keep up and maybe give them some buffs.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what's taking this thing?
Yeah, what is taking it?
Look, let's just all put our goodwill onto Andrew Birchfield.
I was going to say, I want to put it on this Imperial Fist list because that was like fun.
That is true. Let's just do it. By the powers combined,
there's some good vibes.
Andrew Birchfield.
Thursday show powers combined. Andrew Birchfield.
I mean, kind of joking aside, we talk about list each and every week, and we see that the field is actually wide open. And we see like skill of players winning out. The likelihood of Imperial Fist taking the whole thing is kind of small, but the fact the unit choices that the general has taken, I think, position it pretty well to what else we see out there. So best of luck.
Sometimes it's not what we think is going to win; it's what we want to win. So.
Right.
Here's that palette cleanser I was talking about. We're towards the end of the show. I want to remind everybody that this next section has very little to do with Warhammer 40,000 sometimes. But after we've just been hanging out and talking about stats and the meta and crunching numbers and really predictions and what have you, this is a nice little palette cleanser we call the Fuego Rapido. We give ourselves a series of topics in 2 minutes to run down them. Once that clock starts, we rapid fire some responses to things, and when it's over with, we just stop talking and move on to the next topic, and sometimes never to repeat it again.
But sometimes now,
you guys.
I think we're bound to get back to one of them, I guess.
Yeah. You guys missed the Pokemon one last week, by the way.
You did.
Oh no, my heart breaks.
Yeah, you're pretty sad about it. I can tell.
Do we get to answer which Pokemon we'd least like to have run rampant in our house?
Go for it.
Yeah, go.
I mean, it's definitely Bulbasaur.
Yeah, okay.
What?
They went flame heavy last episode, right? So
flame heavy and feces heavy.
Feces heavy. Yes.
Muck. Yeah, muck sounds pretty bad to be going ham in your house.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or coughing.
Coughing.
Yeah,
the COVID guy. Yeah.
That's got to be There's got to be some microplastics in there, some carcinogens.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was last week's Fuego. Check it out. Last week we had some guest host filling in for Ab and I. Dustin always bringing it down, or holding it down, not bringing it down.
Whoa!
Tanking the whole thing, Dustin.
True feelings come out. Just
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, let's just get started then. So what 40K...
On that note.
On that note, what 40K faction would most enjoy Thanksgiving?
Definitely the Salamanders.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick.
They love people and
definitely.
roasted meat turkey.
I think it'd be overcooked.
I barely know the.
Space Marines are artists.
I don't quite know the premise or understand Thanksgiving that well. So,
Well, are we talking about like because of the
who's
the thought behind it, or just the fact that you get to
who's
eat a
really
lot of food?
grateful in the 41st millennium? Who's real grateful for where they're at in the 41st millennium?
Is anybody?
Yeah, that's exactly
would
right.
Tau
That's
be?
where I'm.
Would Tau?
Tau or not?
Yeah, Tau.
The greater
See,
good?
Tau would
It'd be the
Tau would-
closest, I think. But
celebrate Thanksgiving, and with zero integrity.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Orcs,
Like,
orcs, or what's
true.
up?
Absolutely, they're just happy to be there. That's true. They're just freaking stoked. They're like, sick. I got like a metal box and a gun, and I got a place to be. It's awesome.
That was Chad. Chad did that. Thanks a lot, Chad.
okay,
did.
so
They
for,
fixed
on
it.
that front, then orcs would definitely be the one that would enjoy it the most. But I don't think they would celebrate it. They would just do what they do every day and say Happy Thanksgiving, maybe.
Maybe.
Mm. There would be a lot of grimaces at the Tau Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yeah, everyone would be really uncomfortable.
be very unhappy
Yeah.
because they're like, well, "Why are we doing this? We're trying to not offend somebody or something."
Yeah, yeah, and then there's the croute table where they're just eating the croute. They're like someone that's wiki based an actual croute and serving the croute to other croute.
That's just awful. Then there's
Yeah,
that was a
it's rough.
civil war in the Tau between the Croute and the actual Tau.
Man,
Jeez, that got dark at the end.
that
there.
did. Orcs, everybody, orcs, having a good time.
Oh, cool,
Hey,
yeah. Ow, yeah.
All right. Well,
Naka, naka,
what's
naka.
the best time of the day to eat pie?
Oh, all day, every day.
All the time.
But I'm actually only like certain kinds of pie.
I'm a dessert pie boy. I like pie for dessert.
At
Like
the end,
dinner,
at the
dessert?
end of your
Or
meal.
do you have
Yeah.
dessert after like lunch? And
Last thing I
breakfast?
eat in a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and here's another question within a question: is a cheesecake a cake or is it a pie? Like you kind of, it comes in like a,
In a
think
shell.
there's some-
Yeah.
Well, but it's called cake. I don't.
No,
I
I
mean-
reckon straight up, I reckon it's a pie.
Because it may change the question here. If cheesecakes is in the mix and also the pies that I like are in the mix, then
But like they
Wait,
couldn't call
Why
it
does that
cheese
change the
pie
question? You eat them at
because
different
there's-
times.
There's already cheese pie, right? That's why they couldn't call it cheese pie.
there is no
Is there-
cheese pie. No.
Because
Is
there's-
there
well,
cheese
there's-
pie?
well, there's cheese in everything. It's like quiches. There's egg and bacon
Oh,
pie.
frittata.
Yeah,
Is everything that has cheese in it a pie? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
No, but there's so many other things that come in a shell that have cheese in them. There's cheese is a component of. So
Well-
they call it cheese pie. Everyone's going to assume it's like cheese and bacon, egg and bacon pie, or they're going to assume it's savory.
Is
So
it,
they have to
is
call
it
it
would also
cannoli
be
a pie?
delicious.
Because I
We're
like
cracking-
cannoli.
Guys, we're
And
cracking the
I
secret.
don't like the fact that you brought up that maybe savory isn't a pie because that certainly qualifies.
so
as a pie.
No, it
love
absolutely is. That's
Keeping
what
you
I
on
mean. They
topic
tried to.
is so hard today.
They had to make a distinction, right? They were like, they were sitting around a table and they were looking at this cheesecake they just made and being like, "Is this a pie? Did we just make sweet cheese pie? Okay, we can't call it sweet cheese pie. No one will get
Can't
it."
call it sweet cheese pie. Yeah, that's another
Let's
good
call it
point.
cake.
That would not sell as much as cheesecake.
It's cheesecake. It's exactly right.
Yeah.
Mark and Kim got together.
You'll never know.
Like
we-
New
we'll-
York
we'll
style
never
sweet
know.
cheese
Pie.
pie.
Yeah, it's not as good. It's nowhere near as appetizing.
The answer is after dinner. There you go. We
No.
got there. It just
Wow.
took us a
Okay,
minute and
great.
50 seconds.
Jeez. Wonderful.
Is it dinner? Like it's the largest meal. We're out of time. We're out of time.
Okay, so what's the official pie of the 41st millennium?
Pecan pie. Calling it right now. No further.
But why
I was
pecan
really
pie?
expecting you to say cheesecake
Yeah.
Oh no.
after that whole
The official
conversation.
pie I was going to think of a pie for the masses, so I was just going to do like a steak and kidney pie or something like
Oh, that's a good
something
one.
mass produced they could just spam out, like maybe a shepherd's pie. It's pretty cheap to make. It's just potato and a bit of mince.
Cornstarch pie.
Okay, now
Yeah,
shepherd's
yeah.
pie is a pie too. I'm so confused right now.
Shepherd's pie has
That is
pie in the
true.
title.
It doesn't
I
have
mean,
crust
It
on it.
does. It
So we're
does.
gonna-
Yeah.
Well,
It's literally just a
that's
lid.
That's what we're
It's
talking
a
about
lid.
pie. We're having crust on the bottom. Shepherd's pie doesn't have that, but cheesecake does. So cheesecake isn't a pie, but shepherd's pie
that's-
isn't a pie.
Chicken pot pies.
broken
I mean,
Dustin.
there's.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
going on?
You know,
Yorkshire
and I don't know
pies.
that.
No, it's not. It's Yorkshire pudding. never mind.
Yorkshire pudding.
Yorkshire-
Yeah.
What?
I watch
Now
a
you're
lot of those
making
old
up things.
timey, you know,
You can't make
I'm
up
just
things
like
in this.
Just messing with you now.
recipes. Do we have the crust all the time? Is crust always the prerequisite for a pie, or can you just have some pastry on top?
No, because you can have an open topped pie, right? Like,
Well,
is a
aren't all
tart is a
pies
tart
on
a
top?
pie?
Is the crust underneath?
Savory pies aren't typically open topped.
Is a tart a pie? Or
You
is it
actually
in the
have
pie
to-
family?
You can't charge when you get out of
A
them.
tart's not a pie. Tart is a
Can't
tart.
charge. Yeah.
Well, it could be in the pie family. It could be the
That's a-
cousin of the pie.
Well, pies a family now too. What the hell? Is
A
going
tart
on?
is just a tiny pie. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but like little tiny desserts are like my ultimate weakness. Like I will eat all of them.
Yeah,
They're-
they're easy to eat. They're like one bites. You can just pop them in
So-
there. You're good.
At LVO, we need to go out to get some pie and actually
Some
figure out
tiny-
some tiny
Yeah.
pies, some tarts, some torts.
Or even better, we
shepherd's
go to
pie,
the Cheesecake Factory.
Because
Yes.
as
And
the
just-
Cheesecake Factory
We walked
people,
right up to
I
the
would like-
cellar.
I would like
and
your
just,
best cheesecake pie, please.
Just
Your
walk
sweet
straight
cheese
up to
pies.
the front guy
Sweet
and ask
cheese
him,
pie. We want a sweet cheese
Oh,
pie.
I'd
God.
be
Hey,
like,
kid.
he's Canadian. Just
Hey,
can we get-
16-year-old kid.
Fuego.
why isn't this a pie? Tell me. Prove to me this is not a pie right now. No, man.
All right. What Warhammer character most deserves a pie in the face?
I'd say Yark, but we can't find him.
Well, he's on a
If we
belt
can
right
find
now.
him.
Hey.
Yikes.
Oof.
Who takes themselves way too seriously? I feel like Gilliman's always the go-to.
Oh,
Yeah,
Gilliman's
I was
in
gonna
the
say, I was
chat.
gonna say,
Yeah.
Drago. He needs to lighten up.
Drago's light as all get out, man. He's cruising the warp, just carving hearts. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna carve my name right here. Drago was here.
He's
Hard,
in an
hard.
impulsor with hydraulics, just cruising, the Chaos Worlds wastes, just pumping some tunes, living
Who
it
needs
up.
Good pie in the face.
Magnus, so he quits. Yeah, he needs to lighten up.
Magnus could chill. Lorgar, could chill.
Trajan?
absolutely chill out. Hey, Kale, just said Lorgar in the chat as well.
Lorgar,
Absolutely
yeah.
right, mate.
Every
There we go.
Custodes
The
person.
Silent King.
Yeah.
Can't find him either anymore.
No,
Hey, would he
Angron.
even
Angron does
register?
not need a pie in the face. He's fine, bro.
That wouldn't even phase Angron.
Yeah.
How funny would it be to be just a guardsman and just run up on a battlefield and just pie or TP the Silent King, like just to see what he would do.
TP him.
Like, it's essentially a building, right?
The throne or whatever would be all like
Yeah,
they'd have to
yeah,
clean-
like,
that'd be great.
What would he do? What would he do? Like, he probably has no concept of what the hell you are doing. He's like, just analyze what has occurred, and he's like,
He would think it's a threat, and he would annihilator beam
Yeah,
him.
it
No,
would
he
be
just
done.
set
probably.
this staff down. He's just
And
That
then he'd
guy,
pick
though-
up the guy and wipe his bum with him because
Yeah.
he doesn't have enough TP.
But that guy, whoever had the cojones to run up and TP the Silent King, would be like,
He would be a
you'd never stop telling that story.
Yeah.
Like, no one would ever.
Oh, I also forgot to introduce Richard is from production in the back.
Hello.
Is
This
here.
is random.
That's the other voice you
coming
hear
up.
if you're
Yeah,
listening to
yeah.
this
Some,
after the fact.
some weird person's asking questions. Yeah.
We've invited him onto the
For-
show.
I don't know
definitely.
how many
Has to
years.
Fuego.
That's Fuego. So you guys didn't really solve it, but I'm proud of all of you equally.
We saw it.
Okay.
Anybody that's too serious needs it.
Yeah, well, they're all too serious. Okay. Why should 40K bring back pie templates for resolving attacks? I don't agree with this
so
at all.
Much fun.
No, they're not
I
fun.
love
They're not
those
fun.
things.
Oh
they were
my God.
so much
Bring
fun.
Ugh.
them back.
No.
I want
Why?
I want in
I
very
love them.
limited supply. Things like orb bees things of that caliber. I
Orbital
want to be a pie
bombardment.
plate. And,
Oh.
an orbital bombardment. Things of that nature. Everyone has like a 3 CP garbage strat that does nothing. That could be a pie plate.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's true.
That's
Death strike
that's what I
missiles.
want.
How cool would they be? Is like just roll a scatter
Dude.
die. Maybe it does something amazing. Maybe it doesn't. You don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly,
well,
honestly,
it's-
the rule should be for a Death Strike, the largest platter you're able to bring with you to the game is the amount of models that get hit by it. If you just whip out a wok, like, and just like, ha, Death Strike.
One of
like,
those.
That you should be allowed to.
Those little things that they expand into this, whatever.
Yes, yeah. A tarpaulin, a kid's bath,
How many
just throw it over your opponent's
How
models.
many arguments did the template cause in fantasy?
Well, listen, I
Honestly,
understand why they removed it. I know why.
Okay.
I understand that. I know they got rid of the arguments and everything, but they were so much fun because they're just so. It's a dice game. It is so fun when you see somebody just scatter like, oh god, where's it gonna go? What's it gonna hit? I just loved that interaction. I thought, it was
like deep striking or whatever. Like if I could just put if I roll this and this template slides in right between you,
so weird.
You just slid in between you.
Yeah, like seriously, when deep striking now to me is still so wonky that it's so reliable because I'm still used to deep striking. Like, I hope I make it.
So I think you can do pie plates. I think it's fine. I think GW was okay to remove the scatter dice. The scatter dice was, I believe, the most argumentative point. Just having I pay 3 CP and then next turn, here is a marker where I'm going to place a pie plate upon. Where's the arguments?
Solved.
Where's the arguments? Like,
I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Fuego.
Hey, that's our show this week. That was pretty awesome. No, seriously, I hope everybody out there has had a great. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a great one. Thanks for coming and spending this time with us, including us on this day. For the folks internationally that did not, thank you as well. But certainly want to get acknowledgement of the folks that may have been otherwise occupied but still came and hung out or made some time for us this week. It means a whole lot to us. Also, don't forget to leave those 5-star reviews, like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments down below if you're listening to this someplace where you can, because that is a way to kind of show the algorithms that other people should come and do this. Check out the other shows on the Frontline Gaming Network. They do some amazing stuff. You can actually fill your whole week with some of the cool talking that goes on for the variety of things on this network and beyond. I had a great time.
Me too.
Thanks, always a good time.
That's it for this week. We'll see y'all soon. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.